Okay, so a lot of people out there following the Mac Jones signing on Twitter, in the media, everybody kind of thought, or some people kind of thought, that the 49ers bringing in Mac Jones on a 2-year deal would have some sort of effect on Brock Purdy's extension. And I have bad news for all the Purdy haters. It's not going to. It never was, and it never will have any you know, effect on Brock Purdy getting a new contract. So NFL Network's Tom Pelissero went on the Dan Patrick Show today and said, "This does not bear from my understanding on the Brock Purdy negotiations. They still want to get him locked up for the long haul." So again, a lot of people out there were kind of thinking that this signing was, for leverage in the Brock Purdy negotiations. Some people even mentioned that, this is the 49ers saying, like, look, hey, Purdy, we offered you a contract. You're going to agree to the number that we gave you, or, we might trade you and look to start Mac Jones in 2025. All of the people that said that, number one, are just trying to get clicks and are just trying to stir the pot as much as they can to make something out of nothing. So again, Mac Jones is the backup quarterback. Like, Mac Jones is not a starting caliber quarterback in this league. I'm not going to sit up here and say that he never will be a starting caliber quarterback in the league, because obviously we've seen, what happened with Sam Darnold and him struggling at first, and then he goes to Minnesota, has a pretty good year. But even the Minnesota Vikings didn't bring him back because I think they know that J.J. McCarthy can come in and probably do just about what Sam Darnold did last year for the Minnesota Vikings. And obviously, Darnold then signs that 3-year deal with Seattle. But either way, again, there are a lot of people out there kind of hinting at, this having an effect on Brock Purdy's contract. And again, a lot of the people that, were kind of putting this out there are people that, number one, are haters on Brock Purdy. Or again, it's the offseason. Free agency's been a little slower now. They want to try to get clicks and attention in the whole 9 yards. So the Brock Purdy contract has not changed with the Mac Jones signing. He still is by far the best quarterback on the 49ers roster. It's not even close. People can say what they want to say about Mac Jones' arm strength and things like that. I will say one thing about Mac Jones. He's a processor, right? Like, Kyle Shanahan likes a quarterback behind center that can run his offense and process things. The Shanahan offense is very complex. And anybody behind center for the 49ers or that's ever played in a Kyle Shanahan system, kind of like Matt Ryan as well in the past, like, they know this, you have to be a good processing quarterback, in order to play quarterback for a Kyle Shanahan team. I remember Matt Ryan mentioned that it took him almost 2 full years to kind of fully learn the lingo and to fully learn the ins and outs of Kyle Shanahan's offense. So it's a very complex, it's a very complicated offense, and Kyle Shanahan likes somebody behind center that can process things at a high level. Obviously, Purdy can do that, hence to why that he's had so much success as the 49ers quarterback. And Mac Jones is one of those quarterbacks too. He's a processing quarterback that will probably catch on to the playbook pretty fast. And it's not really even really much about catching on to the playbook. It's the fact that he is the type of quarterback that can process quick and read defenses quick. That's something Jimmy Garoppolo was terrible at. Sam Darnold's not really a processing type of quarterback. Um, but again, that's why they signed Mac Jones. Not only is he a good veteran guy that could potentially win you a couple games here or there, God forbid if Purdy were to go down with an injury, but he also fits the mold of this offense. And it's funny they signed him because obviously, you know, I think the word around town for the longest time going into the 2021 draft was that Kyle Shanahan wanted to draft Mac Jones. And I think if it's me, I kind of always thought that the reason they went with Lance at pick 3 was because it was kind of a front office thing. It was, Kyle Shanahan was kind of outnumbered, in the regard that majority of the people in the front office wanted Trey Lance. I think they really wanted to take the guy with the highest upside in the draft. And obviously drafting Mac Jones that year would have been such a lateral move for the Niners because they had a guy they had Jimmy Garoppolo. And Garoppolo and Mac Jones are basically two of the same quarterback. They're cut from the same cloth. They have no mobility. They're okay pocket passers, but they don't really have one thing that truly stands out and separates them from the rest. Hence why they really haven't had that much success. But again, I think for Mac Jones' sake, I think he can sit behind Purdy and learn from Kyle Shanahan and potentially kind of take a route like Sam Darnold did, where he sat behind Purdy. And, I think sitting behind Purdy and learning from Kyle Shanahan really helped Sam Darnold when he went to Minnesota and had a lot of success. And now Darnold just inked a, $35 million per year deal with the Seattle Seahawks. So yeah, again, this has nothing to do with the Brock Purdy contract. It's so absurd that people are trying to make this story up and trying to stir the pot all because they don't think Purdy's the guy, or just because really they don't think Purdy is Josh Allen or Mahomes. Like, the belief with many idiots in the media is that Purdy shouldn't be the guy because he's not Mahomes or he's not Josh Allen or he's not Lamar Jackson. Like, I'm sorry, but there's only like 4 good elite quarterbacks in the league that are elite in just about everything that they do playing quarterback. And that's Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson. And I like the common theme around the NFL media is that if a team doesn't have a quarterback like one of those 4 guys, they're not a franchise quarterback. And I don't know why that's been the narrative for so long, but it has been. And again, people that think that way are just I don't know. They just don't understand it thoroughly, I guess. And it's crazy because you would think they would. You would think that they would understand why, Purdy is the future quarterback and will be the future quarterback. But a lot of people don't. But then again, there's a lot of people that give him credit. Pat McAfee being one of them. Chris Broussard being one of them. There's a lot of people that have belief and that I think really see, through in and throughout why Purdy is the future with the 49ers at the quarterback position. So, sorry, Purdy haters, but the Mac Jones signing has zero to do with his contract. It's not going to change anything. Will it change, will it change Brock Purdy? Will it change him kind of looking over his shoulder and potentially being even more motivated and playing better? Potentially. I definitely think the 49ers signing a younger quarterback that was a first-round pick, I definitely think it's going to motivate Purdy more. I think Purdy's definitely going to have to take, things more serious, and I'm not saying that he doesn't take them serious already because he clearly does, but I'm just saying with a guy like Mac Jones in there that was a first-round pick, that is still a young type of quarterback, I do think in a way Purdy could potentially be looking over his shoulder in a way and kind of thinking, you know what, man, this is really going to motivate me to get better. And And, I'm going to definitely take my game to the next level because, my backup is a former first round pick that's still very young. So I think there could be, like, I get where people are coming from in terms of that argument, but at the end of the day, like, Purdy having Brandon Allen and Josh Dobbs as his backup quarterback, like, I don't think he's really looking over his shoulder with too much pressure. But I think with Mac Jones, I think there could be a sense of pressure. Same with Sam Darnold. I mean, in 2023, when Purdy had his, MVP conversation year, his backup was Sam Darnold. And I think he knew that, like, Sam Darnold was, number one, a former first-round pick. He was still a younger quarterback. And I think that kind of motivated Purdy in a way. And I think that's what will happen with the signing of Mac Jones. So I'm excited to see what Purdy can do next year. Obviously, I mean, the roster's a lot different. The 49ers have gotten rid of, one of his weapons in Deebo Samuel. The team's definitely not as, put together as it has been in the past. So I'm excited to see what Purdy can do, with one of his, top weapons in Deebo Samuel gone, and some of his former starting offensive linemen gone. But at the end of the day, man, like, I think a lot of people jump to the conclusion and just think Purdy's a finished product, but he's not. I mean, he's still a very young quarterback. He still has a lot of growing to do. I think the Niners are going to be just fine with Purdy. I've been, a big advocate of Purdy being the future at the 49ers quarterback. I get 49er fans have some different opinions on that, but the fact of the matter is everything that I've seen from Brock Purdy, yeah, he struggled last year or whatever, but everything I've seen from Brock Purdy screams franchise quarterback, screams true professional. He's a true pro, and he's not a finished product, and there's still a lot of room for improvement, and there's no doubt in my mind that Purdy's going to take it year by year and improve every single year from here on out. So we'll see what happens, but obviously let me know what you guys think of this report in the comments down below. Again, the Mac Jones signing has zero to do with Brock Purdy's extension talks. The number's not going to change. The value's still going to be the same. So to everybody saying, this could be a leverage move by the 49ers for Brock Purdy, for the Brock Purdy extension, you guys can put it to rest, because at the end of the day, it was all bogus in the beginning. And obviously, according to Tom Pelissero, it's bogus now.